we are following for you is the tragedy that happened in California. 10 people shot and killed and 10 others injured in that horrible situation that played out late Saturday evening. I want to go out right now to Fox 11 Los Angeles' Bob DeCastro that has been handling this story all morning long. Bob, thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now with an update on the suspect there.
Hey there, Mike. Yeah, really sad situation here. It's now being called the largest mass shooting in Los Angeles County history, as you said, with 10 people dead, at least 10 injured. There are 7 still in the hospital. And yes, there is a lot of shock here this morning. There's grief. I can tell you, in front of the Star Dance Studio here in Monterey Park, there's a memorial that continues to grow, and people are coming by bringing candles and flowers. But the big question this morning, of course, that looms large is the why, the motive, why this 72-year-old man walked into that crowded dance studio on Saturday night and opened fire. We're getting a little bit of a bigger picture of the timeline here. It was around 10:22 on Saturday night when a big celebration for the Lunar New Year was taking place here in Monterey Park when that gunman walked in and opened fire. Those 911 calls came out immediately. 10 people were confirmed dead inside, and as I said, at least 10 others taken to area hospitals there, 7 still being hospitalized this morning. Then the suspect, we are told, 20 minutes later, just 2 miles from here, drove to Alhambra, another majority Asian community, and also was thought to have wanting to open fire on that ballroom as well. But there were 2 heroes that disarmed the suspect before that was happening. And then on Sunday is when the suspect was apprehended in the city of Torrance, the police stopping his cargo van, and then they find him shot dead inside. He's been identified as Huu Tran, a 72-year-old man who at one point was believed to have lived here in Monterey Park, but then yesterday a search was conducted in the Riverside County area of Hemet. U.S. Marshals out there conducting a search along with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. He believed to have lived there for about a year, and neighbors there say that he was a nice guy, drove around in a motorcycle. They thought that he was a ballroom dance instructor and thought that he was not any sort of a threat. So they were shocked to hear that he might have been part of this shooting here. So a lot of questions here this morning about the motive. Why would he do that? There is a gentleman here that we talked to earlier this morning who knew the owner of the Star Dance Studio, and he is telling us that he believes that this was some sort of a domestic incident and that this man knew one of the people who was celebrating inside, perhaps a wife or an ex-wife of his, and that there was some sort of domestic dispute inside, and he was not allowed to go to the party that night, and so out of jealousy may have come here to attack his wife. And so a lot of questions this morning, but no official word from authorities in terms of what the motive may be.
Bob DeCastro there with Fox 11 Los Angeles. You know, so many times that we unfortunately hear about these mass shootings, the suspect is of a younger age, and you're able to look maybe at social media and that type of things online. Is there any rumblings of any like postings online or any warning signs that were given with the suspect?
Not at all. You know, it's interesting. He has no known criminal record, and those neighbors in Hemet in the county of Riverside are saying that he's a guy who pretty much kept to himself, and from what we understand, may have been a ballroom dance instructor, so was in sort of this ballroom dance community here in an Asian community, but there's no social media footprint whatsoever, no criminal record to speak of. And so what we're hearing is just from the community itself, as they've been talking amongst themselves, saying that perhaps they knew who Tran was and that he did know someone inside, perhaps his wife or an ex-wife, that they had some sort of a falling out, was not allowed inside this party for the Lunar New Year celebration, and because of that got upset and went inside and then opened fire.
Yeah, a terrible tragedy right there that played out all over the weekend. Bob DeCastro with Fox 11, thank you so much for giving us this update. We really appreciate it. And